I'm going to start shouting my intentions out into the universe, guys.
I wouldn't do that too much outside of playa. Like, playa is a really simplified space. Like, you ask for chapstick, there's going to be a real high percentage you're going to get chapstick anyway. You bust that, like, directly manifest your intention shit in the Bay Area, you're just going to get pigeon shit on your head.
I need a toothpick!
That's how you get shanked.
Did you say ice pick?
In my teeth. Cool. I'm D-Day. Look at that punum on Beth. You've slipped a couple episodes past me. I've seen it happen.
Yeah, no, it's easy to cut out sometimes.
But today, Beth, since we are talking about names, it seems thematically appropriate.
We're not really talking about names.
I said we are.
We're talking to someone who has the best
name.
Yeah, like...
That's not talking about names, but that is what we're talking to someone with one of the best playa names ever.
And a pretty good story about getting it, too.
And I think this intro's a wrap.
I don't know if that's a good story about getting it. I think, like, I had a funny conversation is the story how most people get their playa names.
It's true. I think what is not going to be apparent to our listeners is the contrast between her playa name and her physical presence.
Are you saying that you wouldn't expect Chewkkake to be art car pretty?
A spunky little thing.
A fairy, a literal fairy clown.
Yeah.
No, that's not. That doesn't sound like a Chewkkake.
Well, you just don't know our Chewkkake then.
I do know our Chewkkake, and it makes sense after a while.
Yes.
I think it all comes through in her voice and her demeanor.
Yeah, I feel like she really shows up like a Chewkkake on the podcast.
I expected nothing less, honestly.
No, of course not.
So when we were talking, listeners inside, check it out. When we were talking about what to talk about in this introduction, we thought we'd talk a little bit about like the worst playa names we could come up with. And what we realized is that you kind of don't remember the bad playa names. You remember the good ones.
And then it becomes a boring story.
Or you
throwing your friends under their bus for the terrible names.
Yeah, all the ones that we could come up with that were bad are our friends.
Looking right at you, Captain Everything.
We did remember one person who had a really terrible playa name, but we couldn't remember the playa name because their playa name was so long and awful nobody could remember it, and we called her Too Long.
You know we stole Too Long from Arctica?
Yes.
So when I met Too Long, I thought she was Tennessee because I'm face blind, and they're both very pretty, like women of a certain size with long brown hair.
And an accent.
And an accent, and I'm bad at accents, and they both have weird accents. So, what's the difference between... What is Too Long's accent?
She's New Zealander.
She's in New Zealand.
She's a Kiwi.
And Tennessee's is French.
Yes.
Yes?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
He's French with a tinge of Australian, because she's been there for a minute.
Yes. She has an Australo-French accent.
It's a very strange accent.
Franco-Australian.
French alien.
There's no point to any of that.
Do you think SpaghettiOs in Australia are made by Franco-Australian?
Wow, done.
Ouch.
Done. Just here's an episode. You guys, should we do better, or is that enough?
I don't think we have to do better. We could just. Yeah. Here's an episode.
Hi, Chewkkake.
Hi.
We've talked about you already.
You have.
Is that weird? Is that weird for you?
No, it was actually really fun.
Excellent.
My entire camp never really believed that story. I was biking with a couple friends, and someone said, like, hey, Chewkkake from across the way. And I was like, see, it's a thing. It's a thing.
That is my name now.
And still no one believed me, and so now I have proof, and I've posted it on our like little Facebooky group to be like, ha, bitches.
Are they going to call you Chewkkake now?
Some of them have expressed reservations, but I think that's really solidified my name, which is kind of awesome.
Did you have another playa name?
No, I don't think I've ever had a nickname.
Well,
Boy, that's a doozy.
Yeah.
Good job.
0 to 60.
Yeah.
Now, see, what you really need now is like an embroidered patch that says Chewkkake, like a name tag patch.
Stop giving me ideas.
Put it on a jacket. Then once you do that, once you like identify yourself on a garment, that's it. No one can take that from you.
I'll get a couple of them made for you.
Patches. And I have one of yours.
Yeah. Rex loves you.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds creepier when you say it.
Right? Well, it's because I pitch everything I do on this podcast slightly creepy.
Is that what you think that is?
Rex loves you. Right?
Did I overshoot slightly? Is that what you're telling me?
Maybe.
Nah.
Rex
Nah, baby.
loves you.
So Chewkkake, this is your first year on our team.
Yeah.
Was it your first year as a volunteer?
Yes.
How many times had you gone before?
That's my 4th year. So this year will be my 5th year. So 3 years beforehand.
And how did you get your ass to this weird ass thing we do in the first place?
Well, I lived in San Francisco for a while, so you really can't live in San Francisco without hearing about it like
Constantly?
all the time. And then it took me about 3 years to kind of like save up, and my friends were always going, so I really was lucky that they were willing to drive and help me get there, and
It helps to have people help you figure your shit out.
Yeah, it's a complicated thing to try to do on your own.
Was it a thing you felt like you wanted to do as soon as you found out about it?
Absolutely.
Wait a minute. People do what? How high?
I love traveling. I love adventures. I love camping. I love biking around. I mean, it was just kind of, I love dressing up and doing all those things. So it was something I always wanted to do.
It's really helpful if you're somebody who already loves going someplace with a tent.
Yeah.
And if you enjoy packing your car and then unpacking your car.
Yes, absolutely. And I guess I already had a self-reliant personality beforehand. So I knew it was going to be hard, but not impossible.
Did you find it less hard than you expected or more?
50-50. I kind of also...
Harder in ways you didn't expect and
Yeah.
then a piece of cake in others?
I was an idiot that thought like, oh, I'm going to Burning Man. I should pack like grapes and lettuce. And like, I love salads, but I thought, I was like, oh, I should, not pack mountain houses. And that bit me in the ass.
So
that was your first year you fucked up on
hungry
food?
First year.
I did pack processed things, but I did have some disgusting rotting vegetables in my cooler. And, when you have to pack that out, it's really gross.
Yeah.
I'm really embarrassed about that.
The trick is when your shit goes south, you just lay it on the roof of your car, let the sun bake it out. It's just like
and then you put it in the burn
chips.
barrel.
Yeah. Even if you have to haul it home, it's fine. It's dried.
I've learned that now, but I've also learned that I love SpaghettiOs. So
there you go.
Yeah, you find something that works for you and you're like, this is calories I can consume that won't rot. This is great.
Yeah, almost solid food that you can still drink out of whatever container it came in. So much better if you don't even need a spoon.
Applesauce. This is a good one because you can also just take off the tin foil and make that the spoon.
Not bad.
If you get one of those
Solid.
narrow neck cans, you can just like tip it into your mouth and swallow the whole thing in a go. And then
I use a
it's almost
canning
not
funnel
even like
in
eating.
my mouth. 1.5-inch funnel riveted
But
to
is-
a bit that fits on my teeth.
Isn't it great to then get commissary where it's like, I actually get fresh food? Like,
Oh my goodness, that was an absolute game changer, and that was wonderful. And I am so thankful for everyone that works hard for commissary. Like,
Thank you, commissary. Even on bad years, it's great.
Oh, it's so weird how excited we get for that gross-ass cafeteria food.
it's great. It's fresh vegetables
yeah,
and shit.
that's fresh vegetables. That's all I really care about sometimes.
It's like, I don't mind that I'm eating corn dogs if I can pretend to have a salad.
If I can cover my lettuce with mayonnaise, my lunch was healthy.
I will say one tip or trick that I've always appreciated. Get one of those like little personal watermelon before you leave and then stick it in your cooler. And then after you finish like a hard build day, just chop it up and hand it out because that is a godsend.
I do always really like watermelon on playa. It's
Yeah.
never a bad idea.
It's always magical out there. Like,
Yeah.
just fresh fruit is always magical out there. Oh, thank you, all of the camps that actually bring that shit out and keep it refrigerated. There was one place that I ran into a couple of years ago that they were serving like papaya and pineapple.
Oh my God.
And I was like, I love you. Can I, like, is there anything I can do for you?
You guys need sex? Do you like sex?
Do you like sex? I can sex.
I wasn't expecting this. It's literally all I brought.
So, Chewkkake, did you go with a big camp your first time?
It's only about like 50 to 70 people.
So that to me sounds like a big camp.
50 to 70 is like optimal size for a functioning camp.
The only times that I've camped with not our crew, it was like 20 people, and it was great.
You can get by with like less than 50 to 70 if you're not like trying to do a big project.
Yeah.
If
We just tried to do a camp.
Yeah, if you're trying to do like an art or a theme, like 50 to 70 is perfect.
You know, like our team.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Our team is that size.
And our team is doing a task.
Yeah, but it's a big project.
Yeah.
And my camp, we do espresso martinis. So we it started out so much smaller and it's just grown every year. And now we even have an art car. Ugh.
Do you serve espresso martinis on your art car?
No, that's entirely different. To have to like serve food on an art car, it's like a different permit. And it's,
So wait, it's counted as food, not booze? Mm-hmm. Why is that?
so I'm the safety coordinator, so that's not exactly my area of expertise. But someone has told me that it was a bit more laborious to try to do that.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely sounds like it.
It's probably a big deal to serve alcohol on a vehicle because you have to then control cab access.
I was like, we did have alcohol in a vehicle, and I'm like, oh, it was bike.
Yeah.
It was one of those ones where everyone is pedaling, and there was a bar in it. And I was like, we got that beer. Oh, right. You're right. I haven't really seen bars on art cars very frequently. I mean, there's often someone there with booze
Right.
who is happy to share it with you.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
but it's not like a
Like a serving thing.
Yeah, I've seen plenty of them, but I imagine it's a more rigorous process. You might have to like have somebody with a chauffeur's license to drive it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I've definitely seen rickshaws with blenders and margaritas.
Fuck yeah. Oh my God. How do you find that?
They find you.
I know. It's just the magic of it.
Sometimes you get found by margarita bars. Sometimes you get found by overly pretentious alchemist bar.
Oh God, overly pretentious alchemist bar. Putrefaction in my old fashioned. Oh God, this bar we ran into and like we were walking the trash fence and there was like this group of people. We were all altered.
Cool.
We were all altered. And like drinking didn't even sound particularly fun at that moment. But there was a group of people in a light up thing, and we went and we were like, oh, it's a sort of a showy bar where he talks about your dreams and makes you a really fancy drink in one of their plastic cups. And so we were standing there, and D-Day ordered an old fashioned, and it went through this whole thing about picking what water droplets. And they tell you very clearly, this is nothing. We promise it's not poison. It's just water that
Convincing.
that has intentions in it.
So I had an old fashioned with the intention of putrefaction in it.
Yeah.
And he was
putrefy.
upset that I put it in my cup and gave him his plastic garbage back.
This woman,
It's not a gift.
it was like, it was as if he slapped a kitten. She was like, like watching him pour that drink that they had fancy made into his dusty ass cup.
It's like, what are you talking about?
Have you been here?
Yeah, it's there. It's there. It's delicious. It's a bit overwrought.
And now, D-Day, you'll notice that all of your intent to putrefy has come to naught.
Oh man, that kind of reminds me of a time where I was also near the trash fence and I was hanging out with my friends and we put like our bikes in a little like triangle so we could sit down and not get run over. Mm-hmm. And
Smart.
we were altered. I was just like, I need chapstick. I just yelled it into the ethos. I shit you not. 45 seconds later, someone gave me a tiny little like chapstick stick. They just handed it to me and biked off. And
Just rolled up and handed you chapstick? Mm-hmm. Love it.
yeah, it was pretty freaking great. Especially
Was it
since
new chapstick or their chapstick?
it was new, and I really needed chapsticks.
Nice.
So it was really, really, really helpful.
I'm going to start shouting my intentions out into the universe, guys.
I wouldn't do that too much outside of playa. Like, playa is a really simplified space. Like, you ask for chapstick, there's going to be a real high percentage you're going to get chapstick anyway. You bust that, like, directly manifest your intention shit in the Bay Area, you're just going to get pigeon shit on your head.
I need a toothpick!
That's how you get shanked.
Did you say ice pick?
In my teeth. Cool.
So you went with I would say, medium-sized camp that served coffee martinis.
Was that like an all-day thing, or what was?
No, it was only from like 1 to 3, Monday through Saturday. Yeah, Monday through Saturday.
And was this an existing camp before you joined?
Yes. They've been there for at least 6 years.
What are they called?
The organization.
The organization. And this is still the people you camp with. You
It
camp
is.
with the organization.
Until next year. When you'll camp with us.
Oh, and then you can get Cockroach Kitchen, which is really good food. 1 meal a day. It's like
I've seen it. It looks delicious.
It's so real food. Like 1 meal of real food makes those other SpaghettiOs go down real easy.
Mm-hmm. Well, you can eat nothing but bars as long as you get one plate with like fresh vegetables and fruit.
Something green and something hot.
Yeah, they really think about how to keep you alive out there.
We love you, Brooke.
And then you can take all that delicious food and you can press it down into bar form for easy consumption.
I'm more interested that it's hot. So
Yeah.
I eat SpaghettiOs, but I'm talking like right out of the can. Like
yeah.
I don't bring a stove. I just
Yeah, we didn't think you were fancy.
No, none of us bring stoves either. Like with the first couple of years, I went with a camp that we planned out food and like pre-prepared it, froze it in solid chunks, went and got ice and did all of those things. And now I'm just lazy and I'm just like, no, I don't want to deal with ice. When someone gets ice in our camp, I'm like, hey, can I put beers in your ice? Like, that's basically it.
Let me again point you to the magic that is your car. If you take, let's say, a Tasty Bite and put it on the dashboard of your car, by 5 p.m., you have a very hot, tasty bite.
Yeah, I'm not even
Gross.
cooking that much. No.
Gross.
Will
What
not.
is your car gonna smell like?
Well, nothing. It's sealed until you take it out of your car, crack it open. Yum, 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 yum.
Gross.
Yeah.
Sag paneer.
So what you're telling me is that at some point earlier in the day, you were thinking about food enough so that you go on a
That
food
is-
errand, put it in your car so that like 5 hours later when you actually can deal with the thought of like trying to eat some food, that stuff is hot? No.
Yeah, let's leave sag paneer in my car for like 3 days because I got distracted. I forgot about it. It exploded everywhere, and
I'm pretty sure a tasty bite can't explode.
Yeah.
we can test this.
I'm going to get botulism. You can still get botulism, right?
I think so.
Cool.
I doubt you can get botulism from a tasty bite.
I was thinking of from a can of hash.
So do you guys not have a shared food system in your camp?
No,
It's such a big camp, though. I feel like that was the first thing my camp. I went with people who had done it before and figured out a bunch of shit, and they were like, "What we need to do is figure out food." Like that was their first and only. Like what us as a camp.
Whoa, buddy. Angry?
I know it doesn't stay.
It's gonna.
I know we're getting new mic stands. Thank you, patrons.
Thank you, patrons. We can finally have.
thank you, patrons.
I've tried.
Damn.
Just hold it in place with tape. You need tape,
Gaff tape, duct tape, electrical tape. Like,
like mostly electrical tape.
Well, then, but it loosened. It was held by electrical.
Damn.
You can hold it with your hand. You can do like an old timey DJ. No, not behind it. That
Damn.
reflects the sound back in and like kind of makes it sound bad. But there's the handle underneath it.
Makes it damn.
moist.
Yeah.
Moist.
Yeah.
So back to what you were just asking. So we kind of called ourselves the organization ironically. We don't organize anything. Everything's just kind of pieced together and everything just kind of figures itself out.
That sounds refreshing.
Mm-hmm.
And the hilarious reason why we have that name is we had a member of our camp who was very much enjoying Burning Man and altered himself quite a bit and didn't remember where he was camped. And
As you sometimes don't.
and so he was talking to his friends, or not the friends, strangers. You know, Burning Man, everyone's friends, but whatever. He was talking to these strangers, and he's like, we like organize things. We're the conglomerate of people. We have planning meetings, and we're organized, and we, and he just kept on going on that loop. And that's how we
great.
got our name. And that loop went on for like 30 minutes. That's all he could say. And we didn't have a name at that point. Like,
He knew so little of what you did.
People on drug loops are extremely charming. Unless they're drunks.
I feel like I haven't run into people on drug loops. I've only ever run into like blackout drunk. I'm repeating myself. I know, it's the fucking worst. Zeno.
The blackout drunks are the worst because they're also falling on you.
Oh yeah, or potentially pissing themselves on you, which is what happened to Joe.
Whoa. No way.
One of the volunteers that he and Andy went out with started like passing out and was like blacking out, and Joe was helping him get back to village, and dude peed on him.
oh,
That is not cool.
No.
You get a shower pass for that, buddy. Showers open at 7.
Is your camp fairly minimal? You're just sort of camping together. You have one activity, your friends, kind of a living room.
we've all known each other now for quite a few years, but we want to contribute, but don't want to make that like our whole life.
Uh-huh.
And we've even taken on with the art card, maybe not a bit more than we can chew, but like we have to go up to Reno like 3 times a year to just maintain, and that's just making it. And then when you're driving in our car, then you have to have like a very safe driver, and our car's old, so someone needs to know how to repair it if it breaks down, and so you can see how there's just like more and more responsibilities.
So what's the art car?
Blue Morpheus.
Tell us about it.
It is a van that has panels that like make it kind of look like a larva, and wings that have these LED lights, and a dance floor and a DJ table upstairs, and inside got a giant sexy bed.
Ooh.
And curtains like on the sides, so it's cute.
Sounds cute.
Have you? So I personally have. I'm going to say never had a good time on an art car. Did you have lovely times on your art car? Like, is the art car experience a real fun one that I'm missing out? I just keep falling on the wrong art cars.
I would say our art car is really fun because it can only hold like 20 people at best. So when you're on there, you like can like just talk to people and hang out and get to know them versus trying to fight for a place to stand.
20 on a van frame is pretty impressive. You guys must have really built that out quite a bit.
Yeah, it's built out pretty well, but when I say 20, I mean you also need to have people on the inside and on top. You can't have like 20 on top and like, you know, dancing their butts off because it's like, we're driving here. Like,
Oh, God.
Yeah, it's not cool to snap an axle on playa.
No fun.
I mean, it's a cool story.
Yeah. I've just totally failed at art car experiences. I don't know. I've just been on the wrong art cars.
I've had fun on a few art cars. I've found a lot of the art cars that I've been on have been too loud.
Soul Train, that was probably the closest I've come to a real fun art car experience, meaning that we were on it for a period of time.
Having fun.
Yeah.
Not necessarily because we were on the art car, but because we were out having fun and
With our
we're on an
friends.
art car.
Yeah. And the music was pretty good. It was ear-splittingly loud.
It just kept taking us back to where we already were.
That is true. It totally didn't go in the right direction. Re-explored all the old art that we just walked past.
But that's fine.
Yeah.
That's the art car experience.
I guess we just have enough money to have that great of a sound system because
Nice.
we're on a
that.
shoestring budget. So
It's okay.
like
Shit's too loud out there.
there's music, but it's
Not loud.
You're not gonna find us because you heard our music. That's never going to happen.
I am so for jank Burning Man. The jank is the best bits. I mean, I love the big, beautifully well executed art, but I like really
But
janky,
what
awesome stuff too.
gives you a laugh as hard as those wooden teacups?
The trains.
The trains. Did the
Yeah.
trains do? I wasn't there for the trains.
Oh,
Oh, no one has told me about the trains.
Oh, the trains were thunderwhelming. First of all, I'm not that tall, so I couldn't see it that well. Second of all, it didn't seem synced with the crash, which didn't really happen in the explosion. And third, it exploded.
it was not even like, you know, there was talk about it rivaling Crude Awakening, and it was not even as big a pop as like when the Burning Man.
To be fair, you're the only
popped.
person I heard that from.
No, they were talking about it at that Sacramento regional thing where it was birthed from. It was a
I get
combination
most of my information from Rex.
Yeah. It was such a cool historical thing. It's very sweet. I was wondering how it could possibly be that big of an explosion when it's just wooden trains being pulled at each other.
I was unfortunate enough to get there early.
Oh,
to
so you
see it.
waited for a while to
Yeah.
see it.
You got that front row, like playa dirt grinding into your ass cheeks seat.
I have never heard a collective sigh in sync as bad as that was. Yeah.
Rolla.
And then fireworks.
Yeah.
Oh God, that's great.
Celebrating failure is really weird.
Well,
A lot of people worked really hard to do that.
it looked great too. The trains looked great.
I saw the trains. The
yeah.
trains were cool.
Anticipation is a kind of art.
Then they mastered that.
Yeah.
I'm still anticipating it.
So it was a success.
The thing is, when the thing that you're modeling yourself after is a giant explosion that could potentially kill people, and I think maybe did.
It did. The first one killed 4 people. It was such a good history lesson. This is the thing, is like the story of it's so great. It's for a while in a period of history, America's pastime was crashing trains into each other. They were the largest spectator sport in all of America. 70,000 people showed up to like New York to watch trains crash into each other. And the very first one was done between Sacramento and Las Vegas. Or Reno. So this was Sacramento and Reno's regional system working together to build this thing. And the very first one that was in that space killed 4 people.
Nice.
Because it exploded in the boiler plate. I don't know anything about old steam engines.
Yeah, they're full of boilers.
Yeah, just and top to top boilers. And a giant boiler just murdered 4 people in the audience. It was just such a like charming like piece of Americana. This is like American history in the way that I like to think of America. We are crazy idiots. Look at this shit. Holy crap.
We have always liked the dumbest shit.
Oh God, could we murder someone while we do this? That'd be great.
We're Australia light. Like
We really are.
But around the same time, America was also really into long distance walking championships. And there would be riots about them and things like that, but like they thought that running was gauche. What they really wanted to see was 2 guys walk from like Syracuse to Chicago.
Was this before or after the dance contests were just like, how long can you physically be on your feet to dance?
I think this was like the 1870s.
All right, so before.
the Europeans did that too, though.
Yeah.
So
Well, before we had television, we were really bored.
Dancing yourself to death is a time-honored tradition.
go to Burning Man and find out.
That is a global sport. We all dance ourselves to death.
My father did it, my grandfather did it, and someday I will do it.
I know that there's like some dude out there who is dancing for longer than any of those people in the 50s got to. It was like 4 days straight, hasn't taken a nap, just totally fucking fist up, dancing the whole fucking time.
Hands still on the hood of the Jeep
Absolutely.
Grand Cherokee. He's gonna win it. He's paying for it one way, but not another way.
So, Chewkkake, this was your first year volunteering. How was your experience coming and working for the man?
It was really awesome. I was super nervous because I didn't know anyone. I know it's like that's totally Burning Man, but like I'm expected to work and to work with people that I don't know, and so that was
Right, because that can be a real bummer if they're awful people.
It's like the first day at a brand new camp. You don't know if any of these people are like gonna get you because you're different.
They could have been terrible.
They really could have been, but
We were all tolerable.
yes, everyone was super, super awesome, very supportive. I really appreciated, and I think I might have mentioned this during the burn, like my leads allowed me to do things independently and like realize my strengths and not micromanage. Because me personally, I hate being micromanaged.
Oh, yeah.
But it was just like, here's a task, do the task. And it wasn't over your shoulder of like, oh, you should do it in this order instead of that order. Because there's a million different ways to do one task. But there's a way that I can do it, and then there's a way that someone else can do it. And no one was like, you know, trying to stick their fingers in when I was working really hard.
Well, the secret behind Burning Man is that 85% of it is absolutely winging it in the moment. So anybody who's trying to micromanage you doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about either.
That's very true.
Yeah, that's why they're even more annoying at Burning Man. Which I feel very grateful that our particular team manages to avoid that pitfall pretty damn well. Like, it's been organized pretty well, and most of the tasks are straightforward enough that it's not dangerous. That's the only time when it's like, nope, you got to do it this way because otherwise you'll die is a major one. But everything we're doing, other than occasionally moving stuff that's too heavy without the proper communication, but we are getting better at that too.
143% of all workplace accidents are caught between accidents.
That's what that OSHA thing that I
That's
had
what
to
OSHA
take.
told me. Yeah, that's right.
Because we're OSHA trained.
Absolutely.
They're offering a forever OSHA training now.
Yeah.
I should take it.
Yeah, I want that, but I don't want to do hours. Is it going to be more than 10?
I think it's one 10 or 12-hour class.
Because damn, OSHA is boring.
Really? A
Like-
10-hour class for a forever OSHA training?
Yeah, for CPR,
Maybe it's 16.
I want
CPR and first aid, you only get like 2 years. Like
Well, yeah, but that's like saving lives. OSHA is just...
making sure you don't kill.
People or yourselves.
it's
If you know how a
mostly
job
just like-
site works, it's pretty straightforward stuff.
It's like knowing where the fire extinguishers are. And,
Or to even look for fire extinguishers.
Or, there's some shit in there that's actually really, really important. Like, here's how you read a label of crap. Is this going to blow up if you leave it in the sun? This is how you read this goddamn label. Like, there's stuff in there that's really important, but it's also, like, mostly common sense stuff.
Yeah, and if the owners of the factory are so cheap that they don't put railings in, you can be like, no, motherfucker, put railings in.
And then they'll fire you. It's cool.
Yeah.
Welcome to capitalism.
Yeah, that's
Oh, yeah. And one of my favorites now, it's in my industry, it's now becoming vaguely standard to ask people if they're willing to break OSHA rules while working is part of the hiring process.
Wow.
Yeah.
What is the expected answer?
Yeah, of course I'll move with the genie up in the air.
But you have no recourse, really.
Fire extinguishers are...
I don't plan my meals. There shouldn't be a chart. And if I don't want to see it, then why? Like, you can do things on your own. Like, I didn't agree to this. I didn't agree to see your chart.
And that's why Gain can never steal you.
That's right.
Because then you'd have to figure out how you fit on the chart.
That is
Oh, because
truly
they're
what
going to put you on the weird chart.
So the chart is what it is non-consensually involving you in their kink.
Yeah.
Like, their kink is to be these weird relationship sex people. And I get it, Gate. I do. But it is involving us in your kink to keep that chart up in your bar all the time.
And it's not entirely accurate. So why are you even doing it?
So what you're saying is that you're okay with poly, you just wish they wouldn't, like, do it right there in front of you.
Yeah, I'm not even quite sure I'm okay with poly. I do. I
Self-hating poly.
No, it's not. It's fine for you to do it at Burning Man. Just don't talk about it and don't teach it and don't proselytize it. You're being gross. Sorry, poly people. I do support you in your relationships, but
Come
just
back
don't
to
be
the
gross.
couch. Hey, let's talk about that while we're reclining. Come on. Isn't this nice?
Maybe I'm just
Okay,
bitter because I've never picked up on anyone or
Can I
been
get
picked
you a
up on
cocktail?
at gate. Like you would think in the black hole you would get hit on some, but nah, they're all antisocial too.
See, we've both got our resentments. You haven't gotten any attention. I haven't gotten served a drink that didn't taste like earwax.
Which is just to say, hey, if it's your virgin year at Burning Man this year, stop by the black hole. You can't miss it.
Yeah, it sounds like we won't be there, but we might be there.
It's really for staff, but you can try and come in too. See what happens.
Have fun.
It's explicitly not for you.
And definitely just park your bike right there. Nothing's going to happen.
Yeah, just leave it in the street. No one gives a shit. It's fine. Yeah, safest place to lock your bike is to another bike.
So, Chewkkake, did coming in and building it, did it change your perspective of the event?
Yeah. Well, not change. It made me love the event more. I super already enjoyed it. It is laborious to get out there and take time off and do all those things. And I was looking for more. I was looking for more than just being there and more than just having an espresso martini party. And that was oh, this is awesome. Being able to hands-on fucking be a part of it, see it from, I wasn't there when it was 0, but to see it really build up, which was one of the awesome things about my first year that I was ever at Burning Man. Someone took me up to the top of the scaffolding, which definitely was not safe, on the top of their truck, and to watch the whole city go from evening to night and watch all the lights and then all the art cars just going through the city, and you just see them moving around like little bright fireflies. That was awesome. And so help build it was also one of those moments of just seeing how awesome it was.
Do you like the volunteer culture? You got to meet a whole bunch of new people. How would you describe who it is who goes out there and does this work?
A very interesting, caring people that are willing to put in the elbow grease and respect other people that put in the elbow grease. There's so many different people that I met, and so it's kind of hard to lump them all together. But
it's kind of a wildly different group.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
just a whole bunch of. They're all weirdos.
That's
yes.
They're
just
all
a bunch
weirdos.
of
but
weirdos.
they're very different from each other weirdos.
Yeah.
But I do think you hit on the thing that does unite the people out there are oh yeah, these are people who like to work.
Mm-hmm.
They're people who like to build things together.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what weird direction you go in, if you're out there volunteering for the org or for a camp setting up stuff, it's you get a kick out of making things with people and helping build the thing.
And I also want to mention, I absolutely still had fun, and
Pre-week's the best.
I mean, we were still drinking and dancing and enjoying ourselves, but at
Getting
7,
to know your new friends and family that you're working with all week, it's fucking a blast.
but everyone got up at 7 a.m. or 9 a.m. to do the work. It wasn't like you partied your butt off and then just oh, I'm so sorry.
And no
I
one's getting
slept
up at
in.
9 a.m.
Yeah,
You mother, who the fuck are you getting up at 9 a.m.?
You need to be at the site at 9.
Yeah.
Or D-Day's going to be annoyed at you.
Other
Yes,
teams
absolutely.
are getting up at 9. They work later.
Yeah, they better.
People who skip breakfast getting up at 9.
No, breakfast is disgusting every morning. I hate breakfast. Breakfast is the goddamn worst. But it
but you
is
have
calories
to.
that will get me to noon.
It was such a struggle this year because breakfast was so awful, but it's it's earlier than I want to eat anything. But if I don't eat it, then I'll be pissed off and falling down by lunch.
The loosest, wettest hash browns.
Who would eat hash browns at Burning Man? I didn't try the hash browns because they were gross. They always looked gross.
It's
They're never good.
it's just nothing.
Well,
None
if
of
you
it's
use
good
that
stuff to
to
eat first thing in the
eliminate
morning.
what you're eating at commissary, then you're a shit out of luck.
Their griddle isn't hot enough. They got to heat that griddle up more.
I would like to say, after bitching about commissary, boy, were those people really nice. Thank you, human beings who do commissary.
Yes,
that is
thank
Love
amazing.
you for food.
Thank you so much.
Just don't want to eat
You
breakfast.
worked so hard.
Yeah.
And coffee was good.
They were really nice after I accidentally got poisoned.
Beth got pepper poisoned.
Oh, I think
Yeah.
Poisoned by peppers.
I remember that because you even like asked, I think, what was in the dish, and they just didn't remember to tell you that it was peppers. And
Yeah, it was corn dogs, which I wasn't
Jalapeno corn
expecting
dogs.
because there'd been corn dogs the day before that had been normal corn dogs, so it didn't even occur to me to ask.
okay, I do remember the peppery thing.
Yeah.
Where
But
do you even get jalapeno corn dogs? I've never seen that.
you ate them at
Food
Burning Man.
service corn dogs. Fancy food service.
I don't think I did eat them at Burning Man because I don't really like corn dogs, so I wouldn't even have grabbed them.
Yeah, that's too elementary school cafeteria for me to eat right there.
Yeah, I'm very much not into a corn dog. It's
I'm sorry for misjudging you guys.
It's too perfect a tube.
Okay, if you have to pick between corn dogs or hot dogs,
hot dogs. I don't need that dry ass cornmeal on the outside of my hot dog. It's not adding anything nice.
I have a friend who we were biking around, and he's been to Burning Man like 5 years in a row, and he goes by a camp that offers hot dogs. Now, they're not a camp that does hot dogs often, and I don't even remember what the name is, but he just like picked up like 2 and just was like, like shoveling him in his mouth, 2-fisting it, and I'm like, Chris, we gotta go. Like we're trying to get back to the art car, blah blah blah. And he's like, no, I haven't had my hot dogs for the week. And the person, the person who was grilling them was like, well, I'm only grilling them till they're gone. So as much as he wants to eat, that's when my job's done. Like, that's fine. And
Love that.
he had like 5 to 7 hot dogs just sitting there, just devouring them, just straight off the grill.
Fucking calories, man. They're hard to come by out there.
Oh, and the hot dog is like the perfect food for just consuming rapidly.
Especially if you're Chris.
You think I'm wrong, but
It's already a bolus, and you can just shove it down your gullet.
check out the hot dog eating contest. It's like the premier eating contest.
This is all gross.
Yeah,
Thank
it's
you.
Horrible. And yet I love a hot dog on playa.
Yeah, nothing like that dry hot dog that I had on the third stop of the naked bike.
I was thinking exactly of those hot dogs and how torturous they were until condiment person came around.
I ate it completely dry and was grateful for it with my giant margarita in one hand. Just shit can drunk at 11 a.m.
Was it the chainsaw margarita or
No,
I don't.
no, I don't know what camp we were at that point. We were really drunk. We were quite naked.
Surfs up big shark.
I had like a really big
Sharkies.
cup for some
Sharkies.
reason, and the whole thing was filled. I had at least 20 ounces of one of the strongest margaritas of my life. And luckily, a hot dog to dunk in that margarita. Because they brought out like 500 hot dogs.
And they had 3 people with trays of condiments going through the crowd.
Yeah. Like cute buff gay men with giant things of like ketchup and mayo and mustard, like going through the crowd spraying like people's hot dogs. It was.
wow, I need to bike around more than
Yeah. Were you guys there for shitty moon cheese?
Yes, shitty moon cheese was my favorite.
So moon cheese apparently is a camp that does.
Grilled cheese sandwiches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been there. They're grilled cheese sandwiches.
With a long line.
And-
Like you wait in the line and then you get a grilled cheese sandwich.
And-
It's kind of like midnight poutine, but
With grilled cheese
with a
and
grilled cheese sandwich.
with a
which is-
disappointing
Oh
sandwich instead.
God, midnight poutine.
But this we were like walking down a block, and these guys had set up a card table and with a sign on it. And we're just with a
Burnsomatic butane torch.
a loudspeaker. We're like, shitty moon cheese. And what they had was easy cheese that they put between one piece of white bread folded over, and we're like handing it out. And it was so funny and really great.
Torching it with their butane torch.
Oh, God, it was awful.
Oh, burnt.
Yeah, it wasn't even toasted. It just had that like that little charred edge.
It was delicious. All I wanted in the world was that shitty moon cheese.
I really don't like the cheese, so
Oh yeah.
It's the worst, but it was funny.
no. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Oh yeah.
A good joke can cover a bad food.
They tried to diversify into other substances as well. They had peanut butter for a while.
At real moon cheese?
No, not
That
real moon
shitty
cheese.
moon cheese?
Oh, the spray cheese.
Yeah, like
Oh, gross.
yeah,
Easy
Easy
peanut
Cheese
butter?
had easy peanut butter and other extrusions for a while. I don't know if that was like distributed everywhere, if it was just because we were in a test market area of the country, but it wasn't good.
Like
Wasn't good, didn't
aerosolized
last.
peanut butter. The texture would be all wrong.
Oh yeah. Well, it's like the texture of the peanut butter they put between two orange crackers.
It's also the texture of easy cheese, which is incredibly wrong for cheese. Cheese should not be that texture.
Yeah.
No.
Only certain cheeses should tube.
Would you like to list off what cheeses should tube?
Raclette.
Cream cheese.
Havarti. I would like a nice thin tube of Havarti.
Gross things that camps hand out. My favorite day to go to bars is after the burn.
Oh, yeah?
Sunday?
The help us clear out our bar day.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's not a bad idea.
It's always garbage. And it's alcohol. Mm-hmm. But they ran out of their mixers a while ago, and they're altered, and it's just the
so
funniest thing.
that's the day I can get my favorite cocktail,
What's that?
a whiskey vodka.
I got at Eggs one year. I got a hot 7-Up and vodka. Like no ice, just hot 7-Up and
hot
vodka.
toddy.
That's great.
I was like, the guy behind the counter is like, I'm not a bartender here.
It's always a story.
And
It's
I'm like, I will take whatever you're making. And he's like, I have vodka and hot. I was like, sure. He's like, I have vodka and hot. I was like, sure. It's going to be a while before we hit another bar. So have you been injured out there?
yes.
What is your worst injury of Burning Man?
Probably cars on a stick.
Did you hurt yourself on the karsher kebab?
Oh yeah,
I can't quite say it.
Shish kebab?
Shish kebab. Shish kebab.
Night at the Climb-In.
That its official title.
Yes, I took a hefty chunk out of my knee,
Nice.
like just right on the kneecap. But I mean, it's Burning Man. I'm fine.
Did you slip or did you just like bang it in?
No, I just like climbing, so something was a lot sharper than I expected it to be. Cut myself on the boar.
Oh God, that boar was
Finger
everyone.
scissors.
Yeah.
Oh, I still have my fingers, and I would climb it again, like if it existed.
Oh, that board was great.
It was
dangerous
beautiful.
art forever.
Yeah.
I don't care about your fingers. Don't be stupid.
And I've
Don't be stupid with your hands, all right?
I've definitely had countless people crash into me with their bicycles. No matter how much I'm lit, they just like,
You're a magnet.
and I'm just like, what the? You serious?
Like when you're walking?
No, when I'm on a
when
bicycle.
you're on a bike.
like I'm biking and they just like T-bone me, and I'm
For someone who's used to riding bikes, it's a goddamn fucking nightmare to be around so many people who are drunk and wearing flip-flops and being like, and some piece of clothing that limits the way that they can move, and they're weaving around, and I'm like, it is so frustrating. It's like, use your brakes.
No brakes.
You can use your mouth too, like,
Yeah.
hey, like I've had a, hey, I'm here type of things, but no,
Yeah.
just.
That microphone is a person too.
Sorry.
How's your hand?
Fine.
Cool. Get the insurance form for her just to fill it out to make sure that we're cool.
Accuracy Third assumes no liability or accountability or responsibility for anything that may or may not have occurred on this show, allegedly or otherwise. Consult your life coach via Skype from Bali if symptoms persist.
So what's your worst injury?
Some asshole hit me in the wrist with a sledgehammer, and then it was Andy. Douche. And then I went. That wasn't actually the worst injury because it was fine, bruised, but because Boomer told me, and I was trying to listen to Boomer. You should always listen to Boomer. Boomer was like, "Hey, there's an X-ray machine here. You should go have it looked at." And so they took X-rays on Playa. Said, hey, we usually would say it looks okay because a fracture in your wrist would show up on at least two of the sides, and we're only seeing it on one of the sides. So wrap it real tight, and if the pain level jumps up, just let us know. And then I asked D-Day to wrap it real tight. And then I had excruciating nerve pain for hours and didn't understand it and thought maybe I was dying. And then they took the wrap off and everything was great and perfect. And
You say tight, D-Day does tight. Up top.
it was the worst pain of my life. Yeah.
That was a self high five, by the way, just so we're clear.
Sometimes D-Day gets left hanging.
Which is not cool, guys.
D-Day, have you been massively injured out there?
No. I mean, I've definitely been to Rampart, but I wouldn't call it a massive injury. I spent like a whole day impact driving a bunch of stuff and sprained my hand. They wrapped it, and it was fine. And they gave me Vicodin, and like I told him I didn't need it, and he was like, "Why don't you just take it?"
That's funny because they were like the Rampart. The people that I talked to, they were like, "We can't give you any of this, but in your camp, there are probably people who have these medications. These are the ones I would recommend that you take."
Rex?
On my very last shift as a ranger, I blew out my knee playing Twister.
Ew.
That is interesting.
Just like
Naked Twister?
No.
Twister
no.
for tri-tip.
No, just some Twister.
Just regular old Twister.
Didn't blow it out so severely that I couldn't finish out the rest of my shift. Just kind of twisted it, and then it took 2 years to heal.
And that's why you don't go into a strange guy's hut to play Twister.
What was something that you've seen out there that really caught you by surprise?
That jet, the like military jet that flies over. That definitely caught me by surprise.
Yeah,
that was
great.
It's always fun to be reminded that you're an impressive culture while you are at Burning Man.
Oh, look, it's death from above.
I bet this is really pretty up there, upside down, flying by at 300 miles an hour.
Well, I like things that go fast, and when I first saw it, I was kind of being a little paranoid, and I was like, "Oh, they just gathered us all up, and they're just gonna bomb us." And
Yeah,
this is the end. I kind of just accepted it. I was like, "Oh fuck!" Like this is. But then my friend's like, "Well, if they bombed us all, that'd probably collapse the economy." So
there is that. We are protected by our
Our
Bay Area tech overlords.
We have some insurance. We have too many billionaires on Playa.
This is a message to Vladimir Putin. You want to aim your missiles at Black Rock City. Transmission out.
I'm cutting that out. It's creepy.
Oh gosh.
It's okay. They can hear.
Yeah, the NSA already has that.
Dude, it was so hilarious. So that was one of my most unexpected things about Burning Man. And so when my friend went for the first year, I was telling them about this, and they're actually ex-military, and they're like, no, you can like actually buy those jets. I'm sure just someone bought one. And
That would be weirder.
You can just have like an
A
F-16.
military jet
Oh yeah, you when we
fly
decommission.
over American air for funsies.
Well,
People
they
have
take
too
the-
goddamn much money. That's what I've been talking about.
They take the weapon systems out of them, but yeah.
Yeah. So that's what they said. And they were trying to tell me, like, no, that doesn't happen. Like, it's just, some aerial pilot, like, not military, blah, blah, blah. And then the jet flew over. And I was like, look at that. See?
Look at that fucking fascist right up there.
And they just turned and they're like, oh, yeah, that's military.
Just like got missiles on everything. You can see them.
It's because there's nothing else in Nevada. There's like mines, brothels, and the Air Force.
Yeah.
Lots and lots of the Air Force.
It's very flat.
Oh, and casinos. How could I forget casinos?
You got to spend your military paycheck somewhere. If not on whores and slots, then what?
There was like one time where all of like C from 8:45 to 9 got just some bad acid.
Oh, wow.
And it was like just an epidemic. Like,
Really?
yeah, it was
Nuts.
very, very isolated. And I'm not even sure if it was a couple years ago. So don't quote. Well, I mean,
Yeah,
I
no.
guess I'm getting.
getting.
So.
So all these zombies took a bunch of bath salts right
Yeah.
around 9:30 and G.
It's like bad acid, like it made people sick instead of high, or bad acid and like everybody got on a bad trip?
Everyone got really violent.
Violent?
Like,
Acid?
Well, it probably wasn't acid.
Right,
Well,
of course. Bad
Sounds
acid
like
is
bath salts.
Meth?
I mean, I wasn't there, but I got some knowledge because when it was happening, it was kind of like an epidemic. It's like this whole block, we're getting calls, and the people are being more than like grabbing the knees and saying, help me. And they're assaulting, hitting, kicking, and just being way more aggressive than one would expect from certain substances.
So you're saying we are being tested on by
Yeah, the
National
military was
yeah.
using a broad wave.
No, I understand.
Yeah,
We
that's
are,
terrible.
Yeah, probably.
that's-
Probably.
Yeah, the acid makes you susceptible to it,
Did
but
they
the
refer
ray
to
makes
the
you
acid
triggered.
as A? Because that's always a good sign that you're talking to a narc.
They call it A.
Did I
you
not
get me
tell
some-
you?
No,
At a regional.
A.
At Critical, my very first regional event ever. It was before I went to Burning Man. And I was out there with a bunch of friends, and at some point, two guys wearing khakis and collared shirts wandered into our camp and asked us if we had any L or A. And we were like,
I got this D. Like,
you could just get up on this D.
Can I offer you 14 ounces of Bofa?
That's creepy weird.
yeah, it was a real bad infiltration. It was kind of sweet. Like, everyone was really nice to them because it was so clear.
Oh, no, you stupid cops.
Yeah, guys, sit
Try
down, turn off
harder.
your microphones, have a beer.
Do you want a Fruitopia?
One of the camps was really obsessed with giving them drinks because they would say yes but not drink anything, and so they would just keep handing them beers and big full drinks, and they were just like piling up beside them.
Oh, that reminds me of this weird story. And I mean, I need y'all's advice on this because I was enjoying myself at Burning Man, but my friends were in line, and I was just sitting. My friend has like a little trailer that he had put a bed on, and like so he bikes, and you can just like sit on the bed, and it's really, really awesome. But I was just enjoying myself in that, and they were in line, and these two people come up in onesies, and just all of a sudden, like very touchy, and I'm already kind of like, who are you? I don't know.
Oh, like just started touching you?
Yeah, and they're like,
great.
Hey, how's it going? Which is, that makes sense. And then, but they were a little more touchy
than your average burner.
than your average, especially since they didn't ask. And they just kind of went for it and never asked during, like, oh, I'm sorry, is this okay? And then they just kept on repeating, oh, but where are you camped? And I was like, that's not your fucking business.
Yeah, who the fuck are you?
Yeah, and they just kept on doing that, and I'm convinced they were narcs. Like, I am
really,
I am so convinced that was my interaction, because I can't find another reason to why they were so touchy. They never asked, and they were very interested in where you camped.
One word for you, Molly.
Yeah, they could have been like really rolly and really into you.
Yeah. I don't know if you've noticed, but you're pretty awesome.
I was laying on a bed, so if they were super into me, like, there was already a bed there. Like, and they didn't offer to take me back to their camp.
They were just trying to get to your camp.
Yeah, I can see how like the chain of intent involves, like, I was at a party where I could tell that there was rampant drug use. This person said that they were at this camp. We went to check that camp, and that's how they get closer to home where people are comfortable so they can do their busts.
Yeah, no, I do think it is fair to say anyone who is overly interested in you taking them back to your camp, unless you've already been touching genitals in some way, like, unless it's like, yes, we are both very interested in this thing where we need a bed right now. But if someone's just like, yeah, I want to see, can I see? Do you have any weed? Do you have any blah, blah, blah? Don't just take them to a random camp.
You need to take them to a plug-and-play camp.
Oh, so smart.
Damn it.
This is why you got to identify
because when
one.
the guard in front is like, you can't come in, you're just like, dude, I'm with the police. I have to show them this camp.
And the number one way to spot a narc at Burning Man is by checking out the awesome narc gear at burnernarc.com. Familiarize yourself with what all the fashionable narcs are going to be wearing on Playa this year. Burnernarc.com, your source for hot narc looks.
Should we make t-shirts that say Narcs Love Bustin?
I don't see why not.
That's a really good one.
I've been waiting to ask that for a couple minutes now. I'm really glad it came after Rex's little pitch there.
Trust no one. If they seem like they like you, you're probably cops. That was Chewkkake.
Accuracy Third is brought to you by the three of us and Hotwire and a bunch of really great volunteers who help push our message out to everybody who does not know what our message is. What's our message, guys?
Did we have a message?
No, but do you see how easy it is to lead Rex around?
Yeah, well, no. I remember when we sat down to start this podcast, I asked you guys to write out what the fuck it was, why we were doing this. And if any of our listeners ever go back and listen to the very first episode, that is the horribly stilted red thing that's right at the beginning of the first episode. We should just cut that out.
Accuracy Third is a concept. It is not a place. It is a time to hang out with your friends in a studio.
Oh, God, I can't wait to hear what Hotwire did with this episode.
It's great.
Oh, hey, if you enjoy this shit, and subscribe and review us, rate and review us, and send us to your campmates.
And maybe if you don't think it's shit, then come to our live podcast thingamajig at the Sacramento Podcast Festival.
Yeah, we're not throwing it, so it's definitely going to happen like the way that we say it's going to happen in this podcast episode right here. We're going to be up at the Sac Pod Fest
Much more competent people than us have put this together, so it will happen.
Sunday, June 2nd, 7 p.m. at the Stab Comedy Theater in Sacramento. We will be live on stage doing a thing.
At our friend's fucking theater, our friend who's on our team, Clee, owns and operates Stab, which is nuts because I've known Clee for years, and last year was the first time we started having real conversations. And Clee's been making a podcast for years and owns a comedy club, and I'm how come you never mentioned that ever? How come I don't know this about you?
Well, I don't know about you two, but I always kind of feel uncomfortable being hey, have you guys heard about my podcast? I do this thing. Do you want a sticker? I designed it. Yeah, the podcast is pretty good. No, it's not just about Burning Man. I mean, it's also about the regionals. I mean, who the fuck wants to talk about that all the time? I want to talk about politics, how the world is dying, you know?
Yeah, but there's certain things in life that only come up when you own a comedy club, and it feels like I would be interested in hearing the stories from Clee.
That's why you gotta say hi to folks and ask them about who they are and what they do.
I know. It was basically it took me 4 years to actually
It's
say
a big team.
It is a big team. But Clee is a very tall guy. I should have picked him out and been who is that guy that I keep working with for years?
Because he is tall, you would assume he is also funny.
No,
I know, I get it.
I also, Clee, I didn't know you were funny. You're just not, you're surrounded by loud people and you aren't as loud as them. So I hadn't noticed that you were funny.
Clee's one of those healthy performers who gets out what he needs to get out on the stage with an amplified little machine in front of his face and doesn't have the need to just shout in front of friends and strangers alike like some of us do.
Constantly?
It's my gift. It's my curse. See how romantic I made that obnoxious shit sound?
So takeaway, y'all, if you want to come and see what we look like and find out what we're going to do on stage, probably as we find out what we're going to do on stage, come on down to the Stab Comedy Theater, Sunday, June 2nd, 7 p.m., 2019, because podcasts last forever if you're listening to this after that. Thanks. String cheese. String cheese must tube.
Yeah, string cheese can tube.
Goat cheese.
A nice chèvre?
Cheever? A nice cheever?
So...
They call it that because it's covered in them cheeves.
Gone real far.
I only laughed because it's your birthday.
You can gamble in California, but you have to pay for chips, and then it's just this weird double exchange of a currency.
Oh, yeah.
I would just if someone has some Cheez-Its or something, I would actually
I
gamble.
want to see the snacks on the table.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you know what? Maybe it's something where you walk through the door and you get a bunch of little bags of mini Oreos and stuff, and this is what you're gambling. And then you get to pick how important those Cheez-Its or Starbursts are. Maybe you really fucking want those Starbursts.
Yeah.
So like 45 different kinds of treats.
Treats of snacks that you're gambling with.
So you're not only gambling, but you're negotiating value?
Yes.
Yeah, your $100 chip is like one of those little boxes of Captain Crunch.
I was thinking $100 chip would be like a full pack of double stuffed Oreos.
I was thinking maybe a Mountain House, or is that a grand?
$100,000.
What's a Mountain House?
We've never had.
Oh my God, the look I just got.
A Mountain House?
I don't know what a Mountain
What is
House
a Mountain
either.
House?
Mountain House is a freeze-dried backpacker's pouch that you boil the water.
Oh,
and
like
two
real
cups.
food. Yeah, totally.
I've tried a lot of different brands. That one is delicious. The chicken teriyaki is bomb. I haven't really tried the breakfast ones because I'm not really a breakfast person.
Yeah, freeze-dried eggs reconstituted, not great.
Yeah.
No, gross.
I still
The
kind of wonder if it would
lasagna-
be better than commissary.
You would be able to eat it at like 10:30 when your body actually needs it.
Right?
But, oh yeah, no.
We can all take a mid-morning camp food break. What if we all start work at 8:30 and we take a break at 10:30 or 11 to eat shitty breakfast?
That, honestly, that would work so much better. Like, I just don't know who can, like, shove themselves full of calories before they do anything. Like, I'm barely awake, and now I need to, like, make this stuff go in my face. And then, like...
I never want food before 10 or 11.
Yeah. I mean, I will eat if I'm biking to work early in the morning and know that I need it, but it's not pleasant. But anyway, I think that the $1 million should be like a skip the line for poutine.
Ooh. I mean, how do you conjure that magical thing?
You work in coordination with poutine.
You have to brag.
You have to have some sort of scepter so they can see you coming up.
Just like a thing that can happen. Oh God, like taller than human scepter is exactly what it should be.
Yeah, it needs to be like 8 feet tall.
And
Absolutely.
have like a box of poutine on the top,
Yeah.
golden.
in person.
Yeah.
It's just a giant potato.
Yeah, just
A golden potato.
Perfect. Poutine, I know that
We're
you're
throwing
very...
out great ideas,
Poutine, I know
guys.
you're very egalitarian now, but please do this. Please allow this to be a gift to our community.
Or maybe like us four can just make 4 of them and we'll introduce it next year.
Just like
Just
see
claim-
it.
Excuse us, we're the most important people. We're here for the poutine.
God, that would be a funny
You
prank.
can see we're
Yeah.
potato royalty. Free our brethren! Or at least let us eat first. You choose! Either shut this whole place down.
I'm gonna
Golden potatoes for everyone. Actually, just us. But
just us would be
Yeah.
fine. I mean, I'm all for sharing shit and shit. Damn, I like poutine.